Here for you. So if y'all have any questions, you can stop us at any time. Nothing is too time sensitive. Of course, it's all slow cooking, so that helps too. But feel free to just pop in, or if you got a question, or Justin, if you see something in the chat and we're busy, feel free to pipe up as well.
Perfect. Okay, I will let you take it over. I'm going to put myself on mute.
No way. All right, so Crystal and I are we're gonna do some crock pot meal today. We've got some beef cubes that we've bought that were already cubed up. We also have a little, yeah, here we go. Yep, good stuff. There. Not too terribly expensive, like $10.50 or so. And then this guy here, you can buy. I can probably show that a little closer.
Yeah, and that was $5, everybody. So
yeah, you just buy the whole darn kit and caboodle, and you don't have to cut anything. I think there's the pricing on it if anybody cares. So about $5 for all that good stuff. Oh yeah, you can barely see that little tiny print, but that's $5 for all that. So basically a meal that should feed you for a number of days for $15.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That package there would cost $10 up in Canada.
Oh,
I believe it. I believe it. We were both very surprised this was $5. That's a pretty darn good deal for all that stuff. I mean, you probably pay that just in the potatoes alone if you bought them separate. So, and they did all the labor for you already. Lots of good stuff. So this one's got little baby potatoes in it. It's got big chunks of celery, big chunks of onions, and then baby carrots. So we're going to be throwing that in as well. One thing that we like to do, so this is a beef stew. I think I forgot to mention that we're doing a beef stew today. I don't know if that's similar to what you're doing, Larry, but we'll find out. Similar, yeah. So this, we thought we would give a little texture to the beef, and what you can do is actually toss it in some flour or cornstarch or both, and then saute it up from there. If you decide you don't want to use the stove at all, you can totally skip this step. You don't need it. I think we both agreed we sort of like it for texture.
Right.
Purposes.
Yeah.
But it basically gives your beef and your stew sort of a thickness when you're tossing it in the cornstarch or the flour. It will be a thickener later on if you were to add, say, a vegetable stock or something else, or even just water or whatever. It can be a thickener for you. So that's a lot of what we're going to be doing to start with. So we're going to coat this guy in some flour. How much you think that is? Is that about a pound, Crystal?
Yeah, sorry, I think it is about a pound.
Yeah.
That was, yes, about a pound.
Perfect. Yeah. So 1 pound of meat right around.
Yep. Little over.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for sharing, Larry. That looks amazing. Yum, yum, yum. We'll have to do tradesies, Larry. Okay, so we'll get that going there.
And I'm hoping to get some hints from you ladies.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Maybe I get a hint or two from you too. I appreciate you, Larry. Okay, so we're also seasoning just a little bit with salt and pepper in the flour and or cornstarch mixture. We have here flour and cornstarch. Depending on what other seasoning you're going to use for that, and I wanted to keep it real simple. You're welcome to go more complicated, but I used this. This is just called beef stew. You can also use Crystal's done for hers. I have one that I brought that I did yesterday. But this is her secret ingredient that she does all of her crock pot stuff with, and that's an onion soup mix. And you can use that as like your seasoning packet. This one's not going to have quite as much of the thickening powder as this one does, but either one of these is good. The nice thing about this one is it has the directions on the back, if you can see all that little tiny print, but that's kind of the nice thing about this. It tells you like you need a little flour, a little oil, a little water. Again, you can totally skip the step that we're about to do, where you fry up the meat. It just gives the outside of the meat just a little bit of texture. After it's all cooked and fallen apart, very tender, you'll get a little bit of a little toothier of a note on the outside of it. It just gives it kind of a nicer texture note.
Yes.
But this is also great too. With this, you may want to just add a little bit more of the flour if you're going to do that part. But both great options. You can also use just beef stock.
Yeah,
For that matter,
And
you can
just
use
like-
just water.
yeah, and some, rosemary or whatever you like,
Yeah,
as far as herbs and, spices.
yeah. Lots of fresh herbs would be good in this too. Rosemary is awesome choice for this particular dish. But you could do thyme, you could do you could do like a seasoning combination. I think you have that 21
Oh, yeah, the
seasoning
21
salute.
seasoning salute.
That would be a really lovely option, but basically that's your seasoning packet for it. Everything else that's included is just gonna be the beef, the water, or the vegetable. We're just getting ready to throw a little bit of the beef into the frying pan here. I'm just gonna take you over to show you the show here. See if I can see
Yeah.
what's going on there. So that's gonna be hot in a minute. Here's
Is
our,
that oil?
Yep, it's just olive oil.
yeah.
I like
Olive
the
oil.
olive oil because it's, good for you.
That's
you
that's
don't-
what I use.
Oh,
That's what
good.
I use. Olive oil.
Yeah, you don't need a lot, just a little, but you just want to brown the outsides of it.
Perfect. I don't know. Can you guys see that? I have a hard time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, perfect.
good.
Perfect.
Good, good.
So lots of good stuff there. She's throwing it all in there, and then we're just gonna do the meat in batches. Fry
How
it.
much did that package of beef cost?
Oh, that was about $10.40. Yeah,
Yeah,
10.50.
10.50 right around.
Okay. Okay.
I might be a little more where you're at, Larry, huh?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Ooh, geez Louise.
Even though I'm in cattle country.
You'd think, right, Larry?
Yeah. Yeah.
They ought to give you a discount, friend. All right, so we got some good looking beef chunks here. It doesn't have to be exact in any way. We're just coating it with flour. If it falls off, perfect. We didn't need it anyway. So a couple little things for you to look at there. And it will take a little bit for us to get this beef kind of sauteed up. We're not gonna really like cook it, but we do want to get the outside of it browned. We're also creating our thickness for the stew.
And then I've just taken my crock pot here, and so I'm just gonna set it on the side, and then I'm just gonna brown it up and put the beef right in there, so
Yeah,
it's real easy.
yeah. Our goal with this today is to keep it as easy as possible for everybody. I know we're all at different levels of cooking and ability. But this was our goal, is make it so you do not have to cut anything. You do not even need to cook. This part that we're doing now is just a bonus round.
Yeah.
But you can just throw your regular old meat into the crock pot. It will cook just along with everything else. The one thing I will say about it is you're going to want to turn it pretty frequently because it can get a little bit burned on one side if you just leave it. These are kind of smaller chunks, so we're really just trying to get them kind of caramelized on there. Lots of good stuff going on. And start to hear the sizzle happening. So, yeah.
That's quite the kitchen.
Oh,
Isn't
thank
it
you.
gorgeous? She just got it redone a little while ago. We are all enjoying it. All of her friends come over and enjoy it regularly.
I
so-
did
Oh,
it in the pandemic,
Yep.
you know?
This is in your this is in your house?
Yep, this is my house.
Yep.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
She got a dream kitchen, doesn't she?
Holy jumpers, I guess so.
I like to cook.
Yeah, she does like to cook. We do a lot of cooking together, Larry.
Good, good.
So
And
we
where are
got a-
you guys where are you guys located at now?
we're in Seattle, Washington.
Oh yeah, next state down pretty well.
Pretty
you're
much,
just-
pretty much.
Just south. Yeah. Okay, good.
It looks like it's pretty warm where you are, Larry. Are you pretty warm?
28 degrees today.
Okay.
70, which is 70, almost about 80 degrees when you're
That's
down
real
there.
good. That's real good.
Yeah.
88.
Yeah,
It's hot.
it's pretty darn warm here today. I'll be honest. I'm sweating a little bit.
Yes, yes. So what do you guys use temperature wise? You guys use Fahrenheit.
We do. We do.
Yeah. So
Uh,
what is it, about 80 degrees?
Yeah, about 80.
today.
Yeah, it's 88. So it'd be a little bit
Wow.
than where you are today, but not too far off.
Yeah,
Almost.
no, it's
same
about
place.
it's about 27 today here.
Oh my goodness. But it looks beautiful. I can see. It looks like the weather is gorgeous there right now.
That's a reflection off my window.
Yeah. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So we're about halfway through the cooking process here of the beef.
And you don't have to cook it all the way through.
Yeah.
Just,
Are you holding up a laptop?
Yeah.
Yes, I am, as a matter of
That's
fact. Good job.
that's what I'm on. I'm on a laptop too.
Yeah. So just show you, just taking some of the pink off the outside of it. It'll give us a little bit of texture. Not really
Yeah.
cook it all the way through. So this is a pretty simple process. It did purposefully work in a lot of room here to chat about different things that you could do. So I will take a moment here and we can discuss some other things that you can do if you'd like to make a stew. One thing is, why would you coat your meat in flour or cornstarch, which we did sort of talk about already. So a lot of the reason you do that is to give it a thickening agent to make instead of a soup, it's a stew. So it's a little bit thicker. You can use that in a lot of different places, but it really just, what you've got is basically a roux, if you're familiar with that. That would be flour and an oil mixed together, and that is the basis of a lot of sauces. So that's basically what we're doing here, is just getting a little bit of the fat rendered out of our beef and mixing it with the flour, and it will create a roux or a thickening agent. And then you mix all that in with the good stuff here, and by the time you get your
Hello, Eddie.
stew done, it'll all be thick. So another thing is different things that you can use. So for your jus, we talked about the onion soup mix, the beef stew. Crystal's got a 21 salute, I think it's called, that she loves to use. You could just use that if you want. The one thing to be careful of with any of these, if you're going to use fresh herbs, or if you're going to use a stock, or even one of these pre-packaged, is the salt level, because this guy's got a lot of salt in it. You don't need to add much. If you're doing like a stock, you're going to want to add a little more salt. If you're doing a stock and you want to do a seasoning packet, maybe just add half of the seasoning packet so you don't get a salt bomb. Another note is, this is kind of a fun fact, the potatoes in our stew will soak up some of the salt. So let me show you what Crystal's got going on there. So that's one thing to note. When you put potato in a soup, it will soak up some of your salt. It's a great way, if you have too much salt in your stew, to remove it. You put an uncooked potato in, you let it soak up the salt, you throw the potato away. So it's a fun fact for you for the future. If you ever oversalt something, throw in a raw potato. It'll help to remove it.
I know if I put too much water in something, I put rice in to soak up the water.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. Thank you for sharing, Larry. Wonderful. A couple other veggies that you can use in your stew. Any veggie that you can find in the store is good. One thing to note is that some veggies or potatoes will take longer to cook than others. And so, for example, you would want your mushrooms and zucchini to go in closer to the end, as well as your potatoes. Stuff like onions and carrots and celery, you can do for longer. It'll take them longer to get kind of soft. So another note for you there. But yeah, like some things you could add would be zucchini, you could add eggplant, you could add those little teeny cipollini onions. They're little round ones. You may be familiar with seeing them from like in a martini or something. Those are wonderful. You can buy them. I think they are also called pearl onions, but you can buy them frozen and you can just dump them right into your stew right from the freezer. So also you don't have to cut any of that up either, or even peel them. Another note I wanted to make is about what the bay leaf does, which if you saw the last one, you may know a little bit about it. It does lend a really nice savory note to a lot of foods. It's something you kind of have a hard time. It's a certain something that you miss, but it's a nice deep sort of a savory note that bay leaf adds. It's one of those, if you didn't have it, you wouldn't necessarily miss it, but you like, I feel like it needs something. And then you have the bay leaf, you're like, that's what it needed. Other riffs that you can do on your stew. And we're just about there, everyone, by the way. Let's see here. There's all of our yummy looking meat. It smells amazing in here. Yeah, amazing. But other riffs that you can do, if you wanted, you could add chicken breast. You could do some like a can of tomatoes, some chicken stock, maybe some, yeah, stuff like that. You can make sort of like a shredded chicken, like a Mexican stew if you wanted. That's one way we could go. All kinds of good stuff. Here, let me show you. Got my good face in the camera again here. I'll show you. Crystal's doing the good stuff there. Look at those veggies. Amazing.
A lot of veggies.
It really is.
Oh my God, I almost,
Almost more than you need,
I
right?
can't believe it.
For $5. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Impressive.
So that's what we're looking like now, folks. So we got it going on. This is most of the work of the meal right here. So we're gonna mix in some vegetable stock and a little bit of onion soup mix. You can do crock pot meals 4 minutes on 4 hours on high or 8 hours on low.
Now mine has a setting of 10 hours on low.
Oh, you fancy. I don't have that one.
Sometimes I'll put it on and leave it overnight and then it's done the next morning or
I
whatever.
love that. I love
So,
that.
yeah, because
So-
I like a real slow cook.
I do too. It makes the beef even more tender than it would be.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, for
I agree
sure.
too. I agree. I wish I had the 10-hour
Yeah,
one on
yeah.
mine. That's nice too, because it'll just go to warm afterwards.
Yep,
does it?
this goes right to
That's
warm
so
afterwards.
cool.
Yeah.
So she's just mixing in the onion soup mix here. Again, anything will do.
And I don't think I'll need any more salt than this right now.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
just tomorrow when I go to eat it, if it needs more salt, I can add more salt.
Yep. And I'll tell you, so I've made our stew so that I could show you the finished batch, same ingredients, but in mine I let cook pretty far done. I'm gonna say probably about 7 hours, and then I added the potatoes. So they won't be too mushy. They won't like just fall apart. But let's see. So then you've got how much of your
Well, you did only 3 cups. I'm just gonna see what 3 cups is and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Just because,
That
you
sounds
know,
great.
we'll see.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say earlier, is that I noticed I could smell the salt in the air when I woke up. I don't know if anyone else has a good nose like I do, but you can really smell it. And so I
I'm
wishing I had put a little bit less salt. So I love that Crystal.
I
does
actually
that.
did 4 cups just because it's only about halfway, full. So, and since I'm gonna cook mine overnight on the 10 hours, it's gonna need probably a little more, water. So,
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think kind of the standard is just cover your stuff a little bit, right? See if you can get it covered and then you're
Yeah.
good with that. So lots of good stuff. I'm sorry if we're making you hungry. Look at you, Larry, man on the spot there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The
Okay.
onion soup mix.
similar,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's even a gravy. So that'd be really good. That's going to have a thickener in it already, I think. Love.
Yes, I think it does.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to try your stew, Larry. Alrighty, so let's see, what else can we talk about here? So other riffs that you can do, we talked about the Mexican, you could do chicken, tomatoes, lime if you wanted. Also a ham and black beans is really good. You do need to soak beans before you cook them. Usually overnight is good for the soak, and then an 8-hour or 4 on slow is good for beans. And then you can add any of the other stuff basically at any point that you want to. Like the onions and stuff, I would definitely do that towards the beginning of the cook. But you've got a lot of options, and like depending on how tender you like your vegetables, you can kind of put stuff in close to the end if you want it a little bit toothier.
Close your eyes, clean your eyes.
Di, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a bunch of old bay leaves. would that work?
I
You
don't
could,
think bay leaves go bad, do they?
I don't think so either, and I hang on to them for a long, long
Yeah.
time.
Right.
It's a great flavor. I think it's good in conjunction with some other flavors. You kind of get a sense on what the scent is like if you open up your bottle of bay leaves. If they're very old, they may not have much scent. That's one thing I can tell you about spices. It's not so much they go bad, so much as they lose their flavor. So if you're finding you're not picking up on any bay leaf scent, it may be they're just expired. Maybe their time is a little bit past. It won't make you sick in any way. It just doesn't have as strong of a flavor. So, but it's a great place to start. I love bay leaves. I'm a fan. It's this certain something you just can't get everywhere. And I'm one of these that can pick it up. If I have a soup and I'm like, it doesn't have enough bay in it, I pick up on it. So I love it.
So you use 1 or 2 or 3?
1 or 2 is usually good enough. I go
Okay.
3 because I'm that kind of girl.
I love that.
But yeah, 1 or 2 is usually good, depending on how big they are. Like you get down to the bottom and there's all these little crumbles of bay, so gotta kind
Right.
of see what you got there. But you can do a lot of different sides too with this. If you have a bread maker, and by the way, I got my bread maker at a Goodwill for about $10. You can make bread in your bread maker. And that's a real simple thing too. Like mine does all the mixing and the resting and all that stuff. You just throw in your flour, whatever your particular recipe needs, and then it just goes to town. Crystal is a phenomenal baker. So she bakes all of her own sourdough bread from a starter. I am not that girl. I do other things, but that's not my thing. So
I just gifted to her.
she just gives it to me. So when I make my bread, it's kind of like the lazy man's bread, but it gets the job done if it needs to get done. So, but you can do that. You can also roast your veggies in the air fryer. I think we talked about that last time as well. Air fryers are amazing for vegetables. A bag salad is a great way to go. You don't have to cut it. It comes already with its dressings in there and everything. So if you want something nice and light and healthy and you don't want to cut it, that's great as well.
Right. Do you want to hear a comedy of my bread making?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, please.
Well, I had home ec when I was in junior high school, and they taught us how to make bread. So when I was in high school, I thought I made the bread and then I put it on top of the radiator in our house. I thought, oh, the warmth will make it rise, but it made it sink.
Oh no.
Yes.
See, Dina, you and I are on the same page with that stuff, I think. I would have done the same thing.
And my mom said, no, Dana, you don't put it on a radiator.
I see where you were coming from with that one. I would have thought if a little is good, more is better. Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Dana. So let's see what else. Oh, the other thing is dehydrated mixes. Sometimes you can find some like dehydrated onion type mixes. That's basically what your onion soup mix is anyway, right? Like a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
And then our big favorite thing for cooking is cooking with a buddy. That's how Crystal and I get so much cooking done as we kind of play off of each other. One of us is good at one thing, one of us is good at the other, and then we just kind of fill in each other's holes there when we cook.
Exactly.
But it's wonderful, especially if you have a traumatic brain injury. You're worried about leaving the oven on. You're worried about some of these things. Real concerns. I worry about them too. You know what I mean? But this way you've got someone else who do the double check for you. Make sure the oven's off. Make sure that you've set a timer. Little things like that can be great. The only other note that I had that I wanted to share with you today before we get into what the meal will look like when it's done is vinaigrettes. So if you're looking to make a little salad on the side, you can do that really easily. There's lots of, it might be good to look up ratios, but I think it's generally 1/3 olive oil to 2/3 vinegar. And then any other spicing that you want. And you can just put that into like a little jar and mix it up. If you add something like a mayonnaise or a Dijon mustard, those they call emulsifying agents, and it will help your dressing to stay mixed, because as we all know, water and oil don't mix. But if you add an emulsifying agent, the whole thing will stay together for a little bit longer than it would otherwise. Dijon is fantastic at it. That's why there's Dijon in so many vinaigrettes these days, is to kind of keep it all together, and it won't separate into the oil and the vinegar so easily. So those are a couple different ideas about how to make your food easy
I have
and
Jen.
delicious. Yeah, go for it. Hi, Martha.
Okay, you can hear me?
I sure can.
Yes, this looks delicious. I'm really loving the frozen pearl onion idea. I've never thought of that. That is great.
Awesome. I'm so glad you like that. I wish I'd thought to get some when we were getting the stuff for it, because Cipollini's, and I think they may be called the pearls or the Cipollini's. I think they're the same thing. They look to be about the same size, and those are fun.
My other question, I'm on my iPhone, so it's a little bit of a small picture that I'm getting right now.
Yeah.
Put the vegetables in your crock pot. There were round red things. Were the potatoes or radishes?
Those are potatoes. Those are potatoes. Yeah, that's a great question. And in fact, they're so red. I see what you're saying there, Martha. Let me give you another picture
I don't
there.
know if you can see.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they do look like radishes though. You're right.
You're totally right.
Yes, I'm just wondering what radishes might taste like.
You know, they do roast radishes. I've heard a lot of people do that, and it's really good. They don't offer them everywhere, but I'm dying to try them actually.
It's in the stew. Last question
Yes.
is, I also liked the pre-cut vegetables. That's amazing.
Yes.
This is so random. Do you rinse those or do you just drop them right in from the package, and does it matter?
Dropped them in.
Yep, she just dropped them in. I have been known to rinse them off. It depends on how long they've been sitting. Sometimes it can get like carrots can get a little on the slimy side. I try to rinse it off. I don't think it much matters. It more makes my head feel good than it does anything for the actual cooking, but I do tend to rinse them just a little bit. It depends though. Like if it didn't have just a little, they get like a little bit of a coating on the outside. It's just from them sitting, I think, without their skin on. It's not a big deal, but I do tend to just rinse it off in case. You do not have to in any way. It would not make you sick if you were to eat it. It's my OCD, I would say.
Yeah, I'm a little that way too. That's why I asked, but that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you so much for bringing questions. Okay, so, this would be the point in time where you just sit, and wait for 10 hours or take a long nap. But what I would like to do is show you what it looks like at the end. So my ingredients are the same. Our seasonings are a little bit different here. But this is what it looks like after, let's see. We'll say 8 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and the beef is totally
falling
falling
apart.
apart here.
Wow.
I did buy the exact
So-
same vegetables too.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
This has a little bit, I think the beef stew had a little bit of a thickening agent, and then also I added that flour. So this is a really beautiful, thick looking stew.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, it smells incredible. It just
and
smells so good.
it's good, you guys, to taste it, right?
Yep.
So when it's done, give it a little taste, and if you think it needs more salt or pepper or seasoning, then add more,
Mm-hmm. Because you
Hmm.
just don't know how it'll be in the end.
Right, you don't know.
And you don't probably want to taste the raw part
Right.
anyway. So
Right.
this is where you cannot remove it. You can only add more at this point. So if it was too salty, I guess if you had potatoes, but if it's too salty or too peppery, it's harder to get past
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
this would be the time where you'd add if something needs just a little bit more. So in other words, go a little lean on the seasoning, knowing you can add in the end if you'd like.
Yes.
So, and this is gonna be good. I think we should try a little bit. You
Yeah.
want to?
Yeah.
Crystal?
Get through a little-
So I'm gonna set the laptop down. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Which is funny because I thought it was so salty when I woke up in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, all I could smell was salt in the house. I have a pretty good nose, so for whatever that's worth. But nope, I think all the potatoes used up the salt that I had in there, so it's probably going to be a good amount of salt. We'll just add a little bit, and it'll be.
Oh, you tell me what I think.
I wish we could taste it.
Wish you could too. You want to come over?
Yeah, sure. I'm just in Pioneer Square. Where are you?
Okay, come on over.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ladies did good.
Yeah, we really did. I think it does need a
A
little
little
more
more salt, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm a pepper freak, so if it was me, I'd be going a little peppery too. But so good. And as you notice, these potatoes are just the right size. You don't even need to cut these in half. Which, if they were a little bit larger, I would have felt they had to cut them in half. But they're the perfect. They're like about just so. It's just a perfect size for a stew.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys are cooking just for yourself, I mean, this could be honestly 3 or 4 meals.
Mhm.
And you can also freeze it and then heat it up, you know, let it thaw and heat it up on the stove. If you don't want to cook one night, it's a great thing to like have as leftovers.
Absolutely. The other thing too is you can put them, if you want to freeze it, put it in a container that's perfect for one person. And then you don't have to thaw out this huge vat of soup just to get one bowl out.
Right, right.
Kind of already in the smaller amounts. That's one of the tricks it's taken me a little while to learn, but I really love
Yeah.
having a small, like a little cup of soup for you, and then you just heat the one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Drop
for
that one
sure.
into
For
it.
sure.
Anyone else
Right.
questions?
Yes, I have a question. I understand beef, if I leave my beef, you know, in the refrigerator, the portions I don't eat, but does it grow bacteria?
In the fridge?
It does. Slowly. So the idea behind you putting your stuff in the fridge is that bacteria does grow, but it grows at a slower rate than it would at room temperature.
Right,
Thing that you've got going on that would happen on your countertop will eventually happen in your fridge on some level if you were to just let the beef live there, you know,
right.
till it grew hair or something like that.
So is about a week okay?
That's
to-
about what I do. I give it a week, and if it's longer than a week, then I'm not comfortable, but I give it a full week.
Right, right. That's
You
what
know,
I
you could
do.
Portion out that, like that pack that I got, you could just take half of it, put it in a freezer bag and freeze it right away.
Yeah.
And then just use the portion that you like. And then, you know, a week or 2 later, if you want to have another beef stew or something with beef, you just pull it out the night before and let it thaw in the fridge.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, so that's a good question. And I'd like to remind people, I had my first 20-day aged steak recently, which is a very fancy thing to do. I've never done it before. But they let their steak, beautiful, like gorgeous New York's big fat things, sit for 20 days. And then they serve it to you and charge you over $100 a steak. I know, that was me too, Dana. It was the best steak I've ever had. So I would say I've learned a thing or two about it recently. So dry aged, it does need to be a particular level of dryness and a couple other things, but for our purposes, I let things go about a week unless it's a dry aged, properly dry aged item, and that would be kind of a different thing altogether. But about a week is
Yeah.
how I feel comfortable from when I bought it to when I cook it. If you cook something and then you put it in the fridge, that will slow down some of the processes that will occur. So if you're worried, say that your chicken's not going to be good in another 2 days, cook it now and then you got a little bit more time out of it. That's another thing you can do. But thank you so much for that question, Dana. That was a really good question. Yeah, I go about a week. And it's also worth looking at to see when they packaged it, when they cut it, because that can vary. You could think you've had a steak that's been cut that day, but it was cut 4 days prior, and then you let it sit for a week and la 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 la. So always worthy of looking at when,
Yeah.
you know, when you should have purchased it by, when you should eat it by, when you should freeze it by.
Yeah.
So those are things that are all
Yeah, absolutely.
seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get sick from your food, so.
Nope, you don't, especially if you got a whole bunch more in your freezer you haven't even got to yet, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, anyone else have any more questions?
Larry, you have your hand raised.
I do, yes. You were just talking about like when it's something is thawed out, when it goes to the fridge and stuff like this. You see that crock pot you got right beside you full of stew. Now, what if you had your supper and you turned that crock pot off and left it for 24 hours and then heated it again at room temperature?
No, that is not recommended by the health department. It is a classic case of the bacteria that forms naturally in the fridge will speed up. So it could be a recipe for disaster, no pun intended. Sometimes you won't get sick, but other times you will. The one thing I will say is that you can leave it on. There's a warm on, I think each of these crock pots have a warm function, and that leaves it hot enough that it won't make you ill. So it neither cooks it longer nor keeps it cold enough that it'll start to get you sick. That
Okay.
can do. But you kind of
Okay.
want it to be like the straight room temp. Great question.
Yeah.
Great.
And you know, if you have any questions about food-borne illness or whatever, you can always look on your local health department website. They will always list things for that. Sai and I have been in the restaurant industry for years, in and out, and we have to take specific classes to learn about how to keep food properly safe. And so anyways, if you ever have questions about that, just go to your local food safety. Yeah, online.
The health department has
Health
almost
department's great.
any of that info that you need.
Yeah.
The temperature danger zone, they do keep changing the number just a little bit, but I think it's 40 to 140. So if your food is, and this is Fahrenheit, Larry, 40 degrees to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, that is where bacteria grows the fastest. And that's the only thing they're saying about it. Not like it will make you ill or it won't make you ill. That's where you're most likely to get ill.
Right.
So that's one note there is you want to keep it out of the temperature danger zone. Either hotter or colder than that is perfectly fine.
Yes, yes.
So, which is why we use fridges and not,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
feel like we should leave it out or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
That
I've
was a
lived
flock of geese going by.
over in the Philippines,
Oh.
Clark Air Force Base, the Philippines, and they used to hang the meat outside and let flies get on it. I'm sure my mom bought it in the commissary, you know, but, and have you ever been down to Mexico? They do the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't you think that a bunch of those people get sick?
Well, I think honestly, they might, but I think because of that's how they are used to their food, they probably don't get as sick as we might, right? Because their stomach and their bacteria is probably used to that technique where ours would not be.
Yes.
Right.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's true of a lot. I mean, you hear about, you go to another country and even like drinking the water can make you really ill because those people have bacteria in their gut that helps them to digest those other bacteria.
Yeah.
So this is kind of that sort of situation. I'll tell you what, you don't want flies on your meat. One word, maggots. Those are how that happens. They are depositing their eggs into the meat, and then they hatch, and it's those sweet little worms that we all love so much. So that's why it's not a good idea. Out of any of the things, try not to let the flies land on your raw meat, I would say in general.
Yeah.
Keep it covered or whatever the case may be. So even if they were leaving it at room temperature, but covered so the flies could get to it, you would do better off than you would. If
Yeah.
it was.
And I mean, you can just keep it in the fridge until you're ready to cook it, almost.
Yeah,
So I would keep it safe.
Yeah.
And I guess you don't have to worry about in the winter time really dealing with that. It's probably more of a summertime thing, so.
Through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
question. That's a really great question.
Yeah.
One of the things that I freak out about when I go to another country, I'm like, I can't eat that. But most people are used to it. They don't get ill. They love it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the way they're used to eating. It's just that we have naturally as Americans.
Is it okay if you take the meat out of your freezer and put it in your refrigerator to thaw like overnight and then start cooking it in the morning?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the preferred way to do it. So you can also so if you're thawing a large amount of meat, you can do just as you suggested, which is put it from the freezer to the fridge and we could slowly come down or up to the temperature of the refrigerator. It takes a long time to do it. The other way that you can thaw meat, if you have like a big chunk, you want to do like a brisket or
Right.
something like that, is you can put it in a sink, sterilized with water that is
Cold water.
and then put it on a drizzle so that it's gonna flow over whatever container you've got it in. And that little bit of movement of the dripping water will keep it so that you don't have a cluster of really cold water around your meat and then the rest is a little bit warmer. It's sort of
It thaws it that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit faster. The
Yeah.
other way, I think they call it slacking. You can cook things from a frozen state. It's not done much outside of restaurants
Yeah,
these days.
I've seen that.
And and that would be like cooking something. So say you got that beef frozen. You could probably dump it right into the crock pot from the frying pan and cook it from that. But that's called slacking. It's just a little bit less common. You don't have to worry at all about the temperature danger zone because it's going from too cold to too hot very quickly. But it's just less common, I think, for people to do that. It's used a lot. I heard them talk about it. I work in a catering job and I heard them talking about it this week. It's a thing they do when they realize they should have taken something out sooner and did it. But that happens to all of us, am I right?
Yeah.
We're all there at some point.
Oh my goodness.
All right, any other questions anyone have? We have a couple more minutes left, just about 15 more minutes left on our class.
No questions?
Anybody?
All right, well,
Sorry.
thank you.
Did you guys find this to be useful and helpful? That helps us if we think it's helpful to you.
Yeah, and also if there's notes about what you'd like to see next time. We really we want to make it purposefully as absolutely simple as we could for you all today. And if it's gone too far, let us know. If you really like the simplicity, if you'd like to keep stuff a little bit more like this, something you don't have to cook, you don't even have to turn the oven on if you don't want. The thing you do need to turn on is a crock pot, but that's way less dangerous. You're not going to be as prone to fire and all that other good stuff. So that was sort of our idea. But also, if you like this idea, what would you like to see next time? That can be maybe something we could talk about for a couple minutes if anyone has any thoughts on that, or what was helpful or not helpful today.
And feel free to share that in the chat if you don't want to come off
That's fine.
off mute or off video.
Well, crock pots, you have to wash them afterwards. And this paralyzed hand of mine broke my crock pot
Oh no, honey, I'm sorry.
because it was too heavy to carry. And so what I do now is I have a pan that I put on the stove and turn it on. This is and I cook it on temperature 2, and I put the meat in, and I put a big sweet potato in, and then I put carrots, and I dump in this tomato sauce, and then I fill it with water and just let it cook
Oh.
for like 4 hours, and it turns out just the same. And I
Yeah,
season it with like chili powder, and
I
now I'll
love
add bay
that.
leaves.
I love that. You're going to be hosting next time, right? So that is called a braise. I think sometimes when they do a braise, so it's just like slow cooking, but it's done in the water, in a water. So on a stovetop, sometimes they'll sear the meat off like we talked about first to give it a little bit of texture on the outside. But then, yeah, that's considered a braise. It's a really beautiful technique. It's not dangerous like so many of the other, not as dangerous. It still is a whole bunch of hot boiling liquid, so good to know. It still does involve a stovetop and cooking and, you know, all that good stuff, but it's wonderful. At this point, whatever works for you, Dana, is the best thing for you.
And this
Beautiful.
left arm of mine is carries it to the refrigerator because it's my strong arm, so I can do it. But this weak arm doesn't work real good.
I'll tell you what, I got 2 real good working arms, and this crock pot I carried down some stairs. Actually, Crystal helped me, but it's heavy. Those are heavy. So
I know, I know.
totally understand what you're saying. Totally understand. Yeah. So anyone else have any other questions or comments, things we could do better for you next time? Or anything you'd like to see us talk about, or we could do another cooking show, or if you're tired of the cooking shows, we can do something else. So if anyone, you don't even have to tell me if you want to tell Justin at a later time. Feel free at any time to pipe up about what